Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm Ross Benjamin of RBWins.com, and you're not seeing me today. Why is that? I have no idea. First time this has ever happened on our platform. My camera's not working on this platform. I just got done doing a podcast on another platform. It was working, but lo and behold, you're going to have to take a look at that handsome gentleman that you can see. You know what his name is? Sean Higgs. He's the hottest NFL handicapper and college basketball handicapper in the country, possibly in the world right now. Sean, how are you, my friend?
Not too bad. I'm pretty good. Speaking of that, on that note, I'm off to a nice 3-0 start in college hoops today. Sam Houston got it done. Fort Wayne by a bucket. I laid a bad number. I laid a 6.
Yeah.
Last night, and under Northern Kentucky, all cashed early for me. So
Very
and I got
good.
LIU double-digit dog up at half. So
how's that for a start? What do you got? Another 12, 13 games on this card today?
Yeah. I got another 8. I got a 5-pack later and a 3-pack later tonight.
Fire away, my friend. Fire away. Kick ass.
I'll go 10-5 every day. That's not too bad.
There you go, my man. There you go. All right. Well, we got a Thanksgiving Day card coming up in the NFL, and we're going to discuss that today. You're going to take a look at the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions game. I'm going to look at the NFC East battle between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys, and I'll let you take it away. Buffalo and Dallas, right now, Buffalo a 9.5-point favorite. The total is 53.5. What do you got?
Yeah, this is a weird one because if Buffalo would have stayed here in Detroit for the week, they went like the league moved them because maybe no fans could make the game. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, if they're staying in town, there he is. He's on.
Yeah.
If they're staying in Detroit, I'm like, this is perfect for them. They'll be here all week. The whole flow, they got the system down. They know to stay. Like it's a nice kind of relaxing week. But apparently they go home for 2 days.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I didn't bet this game. And I'm not afraid to bet NFL. I bet 130 NFL games this year. I don't mind. This one, I have not moved on, but I'm liking Detroit here in the 9.5. 3 straight wins for them. Okay. The Giants, the Bears, not good teams. Green Bay, I don't think is a good team at all. You almost beat Miami. And let's go back to that Dallas game. I had Dallas laying, I guess, 6 or 7 on the opener there, moved up a little bit. That game was, I think, like 10-7 or something along those lines into the fourth quarter before Dallas kind of pulled it away there. They've been competitive. Detroit has been a competitive bunch all season long. I'm going to get almost 10 points at home here versus Buffalo, who's dropped 2 or 3. Even last week, I had Buffalo last week at a 7.5 on the early number out of the, moved around a little bit. A lot of movement on that game. I caught a break, maybe a push on at 8 or whatever. They're getting behind to the Browns. They let the Browns come back and score. They're losing games outright. Give me Detroit and 9.5 here. Allen has not played well at all. I mean, he is not MVP. It's got to be Mahomes or Hurts, I think, right now.
Not so fast, my friend. I don't think that race is over. He takes a lot of heat for what's happened lately, but that's
your neck of the woods up there.
Yeah, I mean, last week he threw for 198 yards, subpar performance for him, but he did complete nearly 66% of his passes. They won the game. For the first time all season, they had a semblance of a conventional running game because both running backs, Singletary and James Cook, ran for 86 yards apiece, averaged over 6 yards per carry. So a lot of onus for him to win it with his arm last week wasn't there. So I wouldn't get too caught up with those statistics. Now,
before that, 6 interceptions, 2 interceptions in 3 straight games is. Listen, it's Detroit defense. It's not.
It's not.
They're improving, but
it's not the interceptions as much as when he threw them. He threw like out of those 6 interceptions, 4 were thrown in the red zone. Yeah, so that's killer. And in the Minnesota game, you threw that interception when you have at least a tie locked up in overtime, and you throw an interception on 2nd down from the 27 in Minnesota, and inexcusable. And that was a terrible throw, terrible read all the way around. But you know what? You know what I like about Josh Allen? He owns up to it. He fesses up, says he played terrible. And I can't disagree with this. I could see why you like Detroit. Why Buffalo decided to come home after playing in Detroit on Sunday. I could speak from experience when I tell you they still haven't cleared all the snow here in Western New York, a lot of travel difficulties, and why they would want to come back to this headache when they're already there is beyond me. But I know that they had a lot of players out with illness last week. They barely practiced. No excuses. But, this is a tough period for them, with all considered. Hard to get to the facility last week, playing in Detroit, coming back home, going back to Detroit 2 days later. It's a lot to ask out of any good team.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't put a halt yet on Josh Allen's MVP odds, but he has to improve. He's got to go back to what he was doing in the first 7 games of the year. Until that happens, I'd be real reluctant to lay that big of a number against a team that's won 3 in a row. So Sean likes the Detroit Lions plus the 9.5 at or versus Buffalo on their home field.
Yep.
All right. So I like the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys, NFC East battle. Dallas right now a 9-point favorite. And I just did a podcast and I covered this game, Sean, and I think you heard it. So I don't mean to be redundant, but I'm going to have to be. These teams are both 7-3. That's where the similarity ends, right? The Giants are unequivocally, in my mind, a pretender. They're 7-3. They've been outgained by 13.2 yards per game, despite being 4 games over 500. Their point per game differential is only plus 0.1. That's as least as it possibly can be. The Dallas Cowboys, on the other hand, outgaining opponents 35 yards per game and also outscoring them by 8.4 points per game. Now that sounds more like a 7-3 team to me.
Yeah.
These teams played, Sean, earlier in the season. You did bring that up. Dallas did win that game 21-6. The game was much closer than the final score. However, the Cowboys defense forced 4 turnovers in that game, held the Giants at 302 yards. Dallas has won 10 of the last 11 in this series dating back to 2017. They've covered 9 of the 11 in this series. That includes going 5-0 straight up and 4-1 ATS at home versus the Giants and outscoring them by 13.6 points per game. Now, a lot of people will say, well, this is a better Giants team. You're right. But this is also, in my mind, the best Dallas team that I've seen in the last few years, and they're only getting better week by week, Sean.
Yeah, but it's the defense that makes them so much better.
Well, yeah, I mean, the offense all of a sudden has awakened. The last 3 games, 39 points per game and 445 yards per game. So they're running up big numbers, and if you know anything about the Giants from watching them, they're not an explosive offensive team. And Saquon Barkley, you could take him right out of the equation if you get up a couple scores. And if you force them to be one-dimensional, guess who's got the best pass rush in the league? The Dallas Cowboys. Okay, so Dallas also 6-1 straight up at home in division games since 2020. The Giants lost to Dory Jackson, the starting defensive back, last week to a season-ending injury. They also lost Wandell Robinson. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mispronounce that. But they lost him as well. He was a former I believe a first or second round draft choice, and he's lost for the year. That marks 3 wide receivers the Giants have now had to put on IR with a season-ending injury this year. They're running out of viable options. Darius Slayton's a nice number 3 guy, but he's far from a number 1 receiver. So bottom line here, I think Dallas gets out to a good start in this game. I think they jump all over the Giants. I think the Giants defense has a hard time containing this red-hot offense that's not only putting up those big numbers and big yards, but they've done it with equal balance. They're running the ball effectively. It's opening up play action pass. Dak Prescott's back in the fold. He's starting to round back into form. I like Dallas here. I'm going to lay the 9 against the New York Giants. And Sean Higgs, he likes the Detroit Lions plus the 9.5 at home against the Buffalo Bills. All right.
Home teams.
Yeah, there you go. Tell them how you're doing, specifically what you got going on, and where you want them to find you.
Yeah, well, got me 7 days a week on Midday Money, 12 noon Eastern. You got that on YouTube. It's on Picks Parlays Winning Free Picks. Find that all the time. A lot of free picks on the show. Obviously, college basketball, we throw out a bunch of those. And as I mentioned, college basketball out of the gate, not too bad. I'm 57%, 58%, 87. Well, now 90 and 63 right now. So it's like baseball. I just, you find some dogs. I'm going to
90 and 63 in college basketball this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's like just a shade under 60% at that volume, folks. Use $100 a game just to do the math there and how much money you'd be up right now. What are we 2 weeks into the college basketball season?
Yeah.
If that,
I listen, I play a lot of games. I tell people you can't, my bankroll is different than everybody's got different kind of bankrolls. An average person, let's be honest, people want to watch videos. They want to bet. They want to live bet. They want to bet every game. Well, I'm going to give you college basketball games to bet, and we're going to win over the course of the year, probably 55, 57. I'd love to be 60 plus. That's an awesome year. Be happy with a 55. That's what I'm, I just want to win. So I'm doing well. I'm riding that. And again, NFL's been excellent all season. College football's right around, 52, 53%. Every time I get over, then I have like a 500 day, but listen, it's plus money in the other sports, NBA, NHL, where I pick and choose some spots there. But basically now it's going to be college basketball and NFL.
Yeah. 55% for the year. When you've given out 153 picks in the first 2 weeks of the college basketball season, if you continue at that rate, and you'll probably go even higher than that, because once conference play comes into play, a lot of guys like to, they're zeroed in at that particular moment in time. I can't speak for you. I will say this, folks, he could win. He's winning at a great percentage right now. You need to dabble in. You need to go to picksandparlays.net. You need to purchase from Sean Higgs. When you do, and I think Sean will agree with me on this, and I'll have him give you his thoughts as well when I'm done, but you need to be very disciplined. You need to have a betting bankroll. You need to bet a certain percentage per game, and you need, God forbid, you jump in and he gets off to a bad start, because timing is everything in this business sometime. If you get off to a bad start, you don't want to bury yourself where you're done for the rest of the year, and then you're going to watch this guy go 55, 56, 57% for the year, where you could have made thousands. Instead, you're done. Okay, so be smart, and I'll let you describe further.
And that's like, so out of the gate, I'm usually November, December, I think I'm pretty much ahead of the curve a lot, just because of what I like to look for in teams.
Yeah.
And I kind of do the same kind of teams, because that's who I'm thinking to have decent years. And if they come out and if I'm having just turning the wheels, I'll still say, okay, my number's okay. I'm just churning here. It's going to break one way. But when I have a bad day, okay, maybe I'll have less the next day. 'Cause I'm like, all right, am I totally off? There's going to be a day we're going to go 3-7. I mean, there's not. We could watch one of the liars say, hey, look at this. I'm going to go, 80% every day. I'm not going to do that.
We don't tell them what they want to hear. We tell them reality.
Yeah. And listen, when I have a bad run like that, it's not like I'm going to come back every day and put out, 15, 9, 6 games. I'll be like, you know what? Things aren't going right. I'm going to try 3 today, get back on track, get my numbers. That's what you got to do, because I got a bankroll. I'm not looking to bust myself out in a week. You can't do that. You can't.
And obviously,
I find a lot of people like to do that, though. They just want to parlay everything up. Like, oh, you got like these. I'm going to make a 17 parlay. Okay, then you go 6-2, and you got enough. Man, if I went 6-2 and didn't have anything to show and lost, oh man, I'd be
you need to be doing something else in terms of investment wise, because that's what you're doing with Sean. That's what you're doing with me. You're not gambling, you're investing. And when you invest, you look long-term. You don't look short-term. You don't look for a get-rich-quick scheme. Okay. So again, folks,
I say in baseball real fast, Ross. We'll wrap it up. I say in baseball, like people are like, oh, you went 1-1, won $17. I'm like, you're not walking over $17 on the street, right? I mean, so if you're winning $9, whatever it is, I don't know how people bet $10, $25, $100, whatever it is, it's plus money. It's going to compound over time. I mean, that's, and I said, like I said, Midday Monday, I said, you're complaining we go 3-3 in baseball and make $29. Well, Send me $29. You don't want it. Nobody's sending me $29.
Right. Yeah.
You're not handing $29 out to strangers on the street, or $7 for that matter. Let's be honest. Who's just going around and hand out? Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing it. So I don't understand. I don't throw my nose up at it. I'm going to take it and smile. Thank you.
And if you don't want to send it to Sean, send it to me and I'll split it with him. How's that sound? Look, what he's getting at, for lack of a better phrase, it's a grind, folks.
Yes.
And to use an overused cliche, but one that's applicable in this situation, it's not a race. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Okay. Yeah. So if you don't have that mentality and you're used to listening to the guys tell you over the phone that they're hitting 70, 80% all year long, they got a lock, hang the phone up. They're lying to you. Here's the thing about both of us and everybody else I have on this channel. We post at several sites. We post the same games at several sites. We are documented at all of those sites. So there's no room to lie. It's clear cut. You can go to the archives on past picks at any of those sites. And when we say we're 6-2 in college basketball in the last 8, like I am, you're going to find that fact to be true. Okay. So, and then let me talk about myself for a second, if I may.
It's your show. Go for it.
Yeah. Thank you. rbwins.com is my site. Okay. That's where I prefer you go, and nothing against the other sites that I put picks at. I'm very grateful to be part of those sites and flattered, but I don't want to pay anybody else a percentage. I want you to pay me and me to reap the rewards and you to reap the rewards. I think that sounds fair, and that's a great business deal. I'm sure many of you out there will agree. I hit my NFL game of the year last week on the Dallas Cowboys, 40-3 winner. Not bad against the 8-1 Minnesota Vikings. I had my Pac-12 game of the year on Saturday on USC. Yeah, it was a 3-point decision, but you know what? A win is a win is a win. Here's the thing, Sean, like I always tell them, when you win by 50, when was the last time you won a game 40-3 like I did with Dallas on Sunday and went to the ticket window to collect your money and they said, man, Mr. Higgs, that was so impressive. I know you only bet 500, but we're going to give you $5,000. No, they give you 500. And guess what? If you lose by 40, they don't charge you more. So a win is a win is a win. That's my cliche. Okay.
That's
for today. And so again, you can find Sean at picksandparleys.net. He's with us every Tuesday. I'm going to expand his role. He doesn't know that yet, but I am. I'm going to find a way to do so because once football winds down, we're going to start doing a lot of college basketball and the NBA. And I'm going to concentrate on college basketball with Sean because I know he's not a big fan of the NBA.
No, not at all.
So that's what we're going to do. So, folks, for Sean Higgs and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you out there a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe, enjoy your family, eat a lot, enjoy, and we'll see you after the holidays. Until the next time, good luck and God bless, folks.